Hi guys, we love you. Um, More on the Chris Watts case. The Mistress, Nicole, her friend Charlotte, Amanda, and a few other things, if I remember to put it in this video. It seems like I said in my last video, you know, the videos are coming out, each day, so there's a little bit more information and um, they contradict themselves. Well, she does anyway, because some things just don't make sense. So, what she said in one video and then said later in another video, you know. Okay, I'm just going to start with, um, last video I was talking about her friend, Charlotte, a few things. We won't mention last names. We'll just keep to the first names for privacy reasons, even though you may know their last names. But I don't hardly mention anybody's last name. We'll just keep to the first names basis only. Um, Remember I was saying about is um is Nicole married? Was she married or does she have kids? Because this was very confusing at the beginning, but like I said, I heard in the press way at the beginning that her husband wasn't happy about all this, but Nicole kind of never mentions in one of her conversations with doing anything with Chris with her children. Now, I've heard she's got kids. Now, I'm just hearing things, I guess. I'm just hearing it all because she goes on like she's a single girl, a single woman. There's no mention of a husband. There's no mention of an ex-husband, separation, ever been married. Nothing like that comes out of her mouth well, I just heard something today in a video. This is why it's confusing, because this did come out of her mouth on the videotape that's just come out, not the recording. This is the video. That she makes a comment like they're talking about the kids, Chris's kids, and she's got enough to worry about because now her husband and her kids. Is she talking about her husband and her kids? Now, if you guys listening to that, I'm just like, what? She mentioned her husband and kids. And, of course, she mentioned changing her name, but that would be a waste of time because that would be crazy. And, stuff like that. So if you guys got any information on that, just comment below because that's what she said in that videotape. I can't tell you which part it was, but it's kind of like halfway through or something like that. You'd have to listen to the whole tape. I should have marked the time, but I didn't, and I'm not going to look back on it because there's too many other things I'm looking at and writing down for pointers. As you know, my brain, I can't remember everything. But anyway, just if you keep an ear out for that to see if you can understand what she said. And also, remember when she said in one of her, it's probably in one of her tape recordings, that she's got a lease. She's just got a lease and she's got a year on her lease until July. Well, that means July the next year, right? I'm not going crazy. But then in this videotape that she made, she's worrying about she won't be able to find a job. She's got bills to pay for. And she goes, oh my goodness, and I've just bought a house. What? She just bought a house? Did I hear that wrong too? Okay. Just bought a house. Anyway, guys, I just heard that. If you can find out if that was what she said, is that true? She just bought a house and now she's worrying about because she don't know how long it's going to take her to get another job and blah, 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 in them lines. Well, anyway, she had spoken to her friend Charlotte. Nicole had confided in her and said, she's hanging with this man. I don't know if she said married at that time, but she said she's hanging with this man and he has kids. And she also said she deleted stuff because she didn't want to look at his text messages or anything like that. She didn't want to have nothing to do with Chris anymore. And that was one of her reasons why she has deleted. And this is, I don't know what her reasons were to delete her Facebook or whatever account she had. I'm not sure on that point. Why you would delete all that. I mean, yeah, it looks like she may have got her friends to delete any photos of her with any man. Maybe something like that. Maybe she's got that to hide. She, she's looking like a hole now, because she's had all these guys she's got pictures with. And maybe that's the reason why she wanted to delete some stuff. Because, she might have a few men on the go. Like she stated one time that she got plenty of offers. She's got date offers and all that. She kept on throwing that in Chris Watts' face, didn't she? Because the man is married and she's single. But the way she's going on, like she's dating this man. So you can't have it both ways, can you? You can't feel one way and then feel the other, right? Because you're both doing wrong, right? In that respect, at that time, you're both doing the dirty and you're both doing the dirty to each other, because you're both liars and you're both cheaters and you both can't be trusted. That's the end of that. So, men out there, you want to date her? Just advising you, watch out. Trust has to be earned. Just saying. That's my opinion. And, she apparently said, no, after this all happened and everything, her friend must have talked to her and was saying, that's that guy on the news. That guy, he works at your place. He works at Anadarko, for the oil company. Is that guy? And she's trying to tell Nicole, but Nicole's not really coming out and saying, that's the man. Yeah, that's him. Chris Watts, that's the man I was dating. Because she apparently didn't say she was dating Chris Watts to Charlotte at the time. She just said she's dating a man from her job. That's kind of how she said it. So her friend is doing a guessing game and trying to put two and two together. And Nicole's saying that Charlotte hasn't put two and two together yet. Not quite yet. But apparently, Nicole said that her friend Charlotte owes her a big apology. A very big apology. And she's trying to ignore her right now. And she's not giving her any information. Because she doesn't need to know. But apparently, Charlotte is her best friend. She calls her a best friend. But apparently, Nicole has not confided in her as a best friend like you do. About all the ins and outs and all the problems and all the affairs that she's having with a married man. So apparently, it's not your best friend. Because apparently, you needed to hide this from the world, from everybody. You're not telling your dad, you're not telling your mother, and you're not telling your best friend. So, I mean, what's a best friend for if you can't tell them your deepest secrets, right? You tell them how good of a time you're having, have a joke about that. Do you know what I mean? Or you don't. Not everybody talks about their sex life. Some things need to be just left in the bedroom. You know what I mean? So, They could not have been as best friends, as she states, or as Charlotte thought they were best friends. She states to her, you know, when I started seeing Chris, I didn't think he was the man of my dreams. You know, he wasn't the man of my dreams. I didn't even think that at the time. I liked him, he liked me. That's kind of how she started that one. Oh, that's when she says, you know, I have my own marriage, to worry about and kids. That's when she states that. When she's talking about what her friend Charlotte's saying and stuff. So did I get that wrong? Because that's what I heard in my ears. Uh, because I was thinking, man, I didn't know she had kids. But she goes about like a single woman. She, she's never talked about her kids. She's maybe she was just trying to keep her kids out of it. She didn't need to talk about her kids because she knows she's being taped. So maybe that's what she told the cops. She might have told the detectives that she's not going into marriage or going to talk about kids or anything. So I'm a bit confused. Does she really have kids or not? She said two. She said two, so I don't know what she was saying. Was she talking about Chris Watts or herself? Anyway, so I might have misunderstood that. But if anybody listened to that, can they comment and confirm that? You know, she talks about, him being married and stuff, but she never told Charlotte. I don't think she told Charlotte this was a married man. I just say once a cheater, always a cheater. 99% of the time, you know, men are going to stay cheaters. I don't know when they grow up or when it ends, but the best part of their life, until their looks goes, and then, they're a cheater or they're a liar or they just lie. And they lie when they don't even have to lie. I don't know why people do that. You see, me, I just tell it like it is, whether you like it or not. The truth hurts sometimes, but why do you have to piss around, making up a story? Like just to be kind. No, just say it like it is. And then you know where each other stands, because that's how I see things. Say it like it is. Don't mix your words and don't give them any reason to think different, because, if you give them mixed signals, they still don't even understand what the hell you're talking about. So just say it plain and simple English, Um, another thing, when she was talking to the detectives and saying she couldn't remember phone numbers. Oh, I can't remember. I don't know. Especially Chris Watt's phone number. Now, her friend Charlotte, they asked for her number, and she just rang it off, just whoop, right off the mouth. She told him his phone number, right? Okay, that's her friend, I guess. But when she was asked for Chris Watt's number, she don't know it. But she did say it's a 910 area code, so she knew that much. Now, if I don't know somebody's number, I probably wouldn't even remember the area code because you don't know the number. So I don't know if she's lying. I just thought that was a bit strange. She always remembers one thing but can't remember another. So, hmm. So she just goes on a bit more about the Charlotte. The detective asked her a little bit more about what Charlotte said. And, and she wants her friend to apologize for her for whatever reason. I don't know um, why she has to apologize. I guess her friend Charlotte said, "Don't lie to me. Is this the guy?" I don't know if it was over Chris Watts or not. But you know what? I think she had told some of her friends, if the press or the news reporters or um, police come around or something like that, just say no comment. I don't. Well, what she's saying, she don't want her friends involved, but it's too late now. Every friend you have in your phone book is going to be talked to. And that's all there is. They just want to know what connection you have with her. How well do you know her? And if she said anything to you about whatever. So they're going to call her friends up. So it's no good saying, keep my friends out of it, because if you're a friend of Nicole's and you've been calling her, you are going to be called by the police, the detectives. You're going to have a visit at least once, even if it's over the phone. And if they need more, they be calling you in. Let me tell you. And she's talking about the 31st of July, telling, Chris to fix it. Well, you need to fix it. Fix your problems. Go back to your wife, fix the problem, or get a divorce. This is what she's saying. She's gave him an ultimatum. So, here comes some more triggers, right? Sounds like she's given him an ultimatum. Or she's sounding like she wants to hear something different out of his mouth. She wants to hear, no, I love you, and there's just no way I'm getting back with her. I like you, and I'm getting out. But he kind of didn't say that at that time. So I don't know what Chris was feeling at that time. Was he getting overwhelmed? Because he says he loves her. But I don't know what he loves about her. He might just like the sex games. There's an attraction and there's love. And there's feelings for somebody. But if it's just sex, well, you got to have more than sex these days. You got to like the inside of a person and like them. And so on and so on. You know how that goes. We know as we get older and they're older. They're in their 30s. So they pass the 18 and 19-year-old age of looks and sex. Now you go for personality. Are they a good worker? Do their family get on? Would I get on with their family? You'd be looking for more stuff like that. That's what I say anyway. Most people do. At that time, I was wondering if Chris Watts thought, oh my God, my life's over. She's going to leave me. I'm going to do all this for nothing. But you know what? Chris was saying he was getting divorced. He's been saying that for months. He's been saying it ever since they known each other. And we really don't know how long that is, really, because, you can get burner phones. And Chris Watts did mention burner phones in one of his conversations with the police. Like when you're in the house, where do you think your wife went? Her phone's here. How's she going to call anybody? And he says, well, I'm hoping that she could go get a burner phone and such. He mentioned a number, different, a sort of a burner phone. I'm thinking, my God, how's she going to get a burner phone? Well, she could have took her own phone with her, couldn't she? And how's she going to buy a burner phone when she don't have any money? Her purse is here, her wallet's here. Everything's in there in the kitchen. And the police had taken photos of it. So that was funny how he mentioned a burner phone. So I'm thinking, Nicole had a different phone. She had two phones with her in this video tape with the detective. One's an old one, and one's her new one. But I don't know how old this other one is because she seems like she's lost the codes to it. Don't know how to get into certain things. But she got to think about that one. And she apparently don't know how to transfer data onto one phone to the other. Something like that. So do you think they had burner phones way back when? Mind you, I don't see the sense of having a burner phone, but you never know. Just a thought. Just a thought about that. But she seems to have made enough calls from her phone in the last, 3 months. We'll say 3 months, because she did say maybe the beginning of May um, they met. And that's not really true, really, because she has seen him in the office before that. You know, she had seen him before that. So what we know, she's lying. You know. Oh, and another thing, the co-workers, they knew he was married, and they knew she was seeing him. See, you can't fool the co-workers. And like I said in my last video, they closed their account they were talking on, and I think they were told to because of this case going to trial. They didn't want certain information getting out, and they were saying that she's married and he's married, and they were seeing each other. But at that time, the case was getting ready to go to trial, and they were getting evidence. So maybe that was the reason why they had to shut their mouths and stop talking, especially if you are going to be called for a witness in the courts. So that was probably why. That's just my opinion. And well, Chris was in North Carolina. Um, I think Shannon said this. I'm not sure if Shannon said it or Chris said it. While they were in the house and they were arguing, because Shannon was the one that called the realtor to start putting the house up for sale. Yes, she did. She also said she was getting divorced. And yes, she did say that. And that's been proven. And that's been on TV. Maybe word of mouth, but it was stated. And she also stated it in Texas, in a text. Well, she said her and Chris were arguing, yelling at each other, but yelling in the text form because they didn't want her parents to hear them yelling. You know how they are. They only yell behind closed doors. So everybody's got a facade, what a beautiful, happy life they got. But like I said, that guy, that was Chris's, one of his good friends that he met when he first got there, like when Chris was working at the Ford dealership or whatever he was doing there. I don't know why Chris lost his job there, because he loved that. Now, I heard he stole something, but I wasn't sure. Maybe he stole some stuff to make some money because, they were going bankrupt or something. Well, anyway, this is when he first got there, that he was working for the Ford dealer. And this is how he met his friend. And his friend said he wrote to his Chris Watts in prison, but didn't get an answer back. And the police called him because they want to know, because of his position, they want to know what he's doing, writing to Chris. So he has to explain to them why he wrote to Chris, because he said, I'm his friend. I hung out. I knew him. Well, I thought I knew him, he said, but I knew his personality and how nice of a person, how mellow he was. And I also know about his wife. She was a piece of work. We know she wore the pants in that house. Oh my God, he was telling them a little bit about how Sharon was, Shannon, and how he just followed like a little pussy, meow, you know. But some men are like that. But you know what? You can't, it's the way you talk, I guess. It's the way you order them around, you know. That's the way it comes off. It's the way you say it. And it's the way they jump when you've told them what to do. So his friend talked to the police, and answered their questions about that. But he also he said he wrote the letter because couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe the man he had become and what he did. So what he was asking was, could he come and visit him? Because, it is his friend. You can't stop being his friend in one day when you find out. He wanted to know why. Why? And he thought Chris might tell him. That was the idea of that. He wanted answers like we all wanted answers. We want the facts. So his friend thought by writing him a letter that Chris would write back and tell him all about it. But you know what? That didn't happen, did it? Because he didn't write to nobody, as far as I know anyway. Because they never released any letters that Chris Watts had wrote. And they would have, right? But they haven't. They haven't yet. And now Chris Watts has been moved out of the state. Now, I did talk in another video about him having to move up to another state because of safety issues or whatever. They can't house a man like this. They don't even know what to do with him. So they're saying he's moved to another state. Now, nobody's saying which state because of his safety reasons. They're moving him out. So wherever he was, in that place being evaluated, well, something must have seriously happened there. He's been picked on by inmates, or because I don't really know how close he gets to inmates in there. Do they have a area where they can all sit? I don't know. Or he's been bullied. I know you're all saying poor thing, but the thing is, the state has the obligation of taking care of prisoners' health and well-being, whether we like it or not. They have to have law and order because they can get sued. Oh yeah, he ends up dead. Somebody's getting sued. Whether they get the money or not, somebody's getting fired. Do you know? So they don't want to lose their jobs. They want to protect. That's what they're there for, to protect prisoners from each other, from killing each other. And Chris with his personality, oh yeah, he's going to have a bloody rough time. He's going to be shitting himself every day. I don't know if this man can make it a lifetime. I don't know how well because his mental state is unstable. He's going to have a breakdown. I bet you if he don't kill himself, he's going to be a basket case. He's going to be in the nut house. Let me tell you. Let's see. Let's read the future. Whether he have a complete, because he's going to lose his mind, or he's going to toughen up. It's going to be one or the other. He's going to be one or the other. And so then, the video talks more about Chris Watts, with the apartment, looking at the apartment. They're supposed to have been looking at him, maybe the Wednesday, 13th, 14th, 15th. But that didn't happen. Chris was moving slow on looking at apartments. We know that he's a bit slow, but and I guess, Nicole was trying to show him apartments, and he was like, yeah, okay, I think I got a few in mind. But he wasn't really eager, Can't he do anything on his own? She said, well, tell me which ones you've looked at, because I've looked at so many, she said. I've looked at so many, and I will. And I guess I'll know if I've looked at that one or not. She said, because, I got a good memory. Oh, that's funny. You don't have a memory just a minute ago. You can't remember what you said the day before. But she's going to remember every apartment she's looked at. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, if you say so. Well, anyway, that's what she says. So, um, so they just go more on to talking, blah blah blah. That's been out, and Chris Watts needs a push. You know, when people, he always needs people to tell him what to do, where to go, how to pee, what time to eat, what time to go to bed, when to work out, what food to eat. He needs to be told all this. So this man can't even speak for himself. He's so used to women telling him what to do. He's like a kid. You know, he needs to grow some balls. You know what I mean? Too late now. He probably get plenty of them where he is now. So, yeah, he might grow up very fast. Oh, yeah. He's already in emotional state. Poor man, but, you know, this man's going to go insane. I predict that. Kill, kill himself, or go insane. He's got nothing to live for. Especially if you have to put up with all this adult abuse in prison. How much is he going to take of that? Being the personality he's got. Now, he's not used to that, but he's going to have to take it one way or the other, and you know what I mean? So, that's life. And she also talks about phones. She talks about the Fire Stick. You know, I guess she's talking about the Fire Stick because I think Shannon and that's funny because Chris, I think, said something about Fire Stick, and now she's talking about the Fire Stick. Anyway, pay as you go for cable. It's cheaper than what they had. You know, it's funny that because he likes cable and that's his only entertainment, but it seems like that was getting taken away from him too. What was Shannon going to give up? The kids can't go to school where they're going, private school. I think you should have just given that up for a year and catch up where you are. That would have been something to give up. That wasn't a must. That wasn't a have. That wasn't a necessity. That sure wasn't. That could have been given up until you've got more money in your pocket to be able to afford your girl to go to a private school. But Chris had to, his style looking like he had to give up the cable too. You know, he didn't even have a car. What happened to that car he had? That Ford Mustang. He didn't have a car even. No, he didn't. I mean, he had a truck for work, but he couldn't use that just willy nilly. He couldn't be going on trips on that or driving all over the place with that. It was just a car to use for work, insurance purposes, and all that, I guess. So, anyway, the detective uh, starts talking about, the deaths. And, this relationship you had with Chris has gone another direction. You know, he kind of asks her that, oh, it's gone a different direction now, they're dead. So he tells her, you know, take a day off, relax. And then this time she tells him, I've lost my job. Because he tells her to take a day off work and relax, get all this stress, get away from everybody, get some sleep. And she says, I've lost my job. I was fired. Um, I was fired. The contract, my contract was, um, we don't need you anymore. We don't need the contract anymore. And then plus the agency she worked for don't need her anymore. So she's lost her job twice, really, hasn't she? And she's like, And she says, she talks about not feeling well. And then she also says, well, I don't feel well not because, of the deaths. She, that don't help, but I don't feel well because, I've just lost my job a couple of days ago. What? It's just the way she says it, isn't it? Yeah, it's just the way she says things. Well, I don't feel well, but not because of the deaths. What the hell? So she talks a little bit about a contract, losing her job, not be able to find another job. She also talks um, about finding another job. She can't understand really why she's been fired, let go. Her, her contract's cancelled. But they didn't really want to let her go. It wasn't really cancelled, you know what I mean? But this company has been brought down with some shame about about Chris and her affair and the outcome of it, and the bodies being found on their property. Now, yes, they sure got rid of both of them for that reason because, number one, Chris was arrested, but he was innocent until proven guilty, and she is being questioned and a kind of a suspect at that time. She wasn't cleared. Well, if you're involved with any kind of activity like that, I think a lot of companies will let you go. And if you're in a contract, that is not sealed in stone. It's not like you're an employee. So they can cut you off right away. But the nice thing about it is they gave her a couple of weeks' pay. They gave her a couple more weeks' pay to tide her over. That was nice. That was nice. That was a nice gesture for them to do that. I guess they didn't need to do it. But seeming the circumstances, they thought that's the least they can do. So she did get a couple more weeks' pay out of them. And she told the detective that's her dream job. That was her dream job. She wanted to get in the oil business and she finally found a job that she was working in the office and it was her dream job. Well, now her dream's gone. Yeah, that's what you get when you mess with a married man. You don't know what you're going to get, what you're going to get involved with. I mean, that's single men too, but I don't know. Don't know about that. So really, this woman's a piece of work, really, isn't she? She just contradicts herself and she lies and lies and lies about different stuff. Maybe it's not complete lies, but it's half truths. It is half truths. It's like she can't remember it 1 minute, but now, half an hour later, she'll remember it. So she's kind of telling the truth in a roundabout way. And then she says she's got a good memory, but now she can't really remember the passwords to her phone. She needs time to figure it out. But she's just saying she's good at remembering stuff. Oh, yeah, she's good at looking stuff up too. That we know that. And she doesn't know how to get into her old contacts or something, or an app or something like that. She has to think about that too, because she hasn't used that old phone for a long time. So, she hadn't used that phone for a long time, and nothing on that phone was to do with this case. She's only used that phone. Why did you tell him you had another phone? If you've had this phone, how long have you had this phone? So apparently she hasn't had the phone that long, because I suppose the police wouldn't say, bring your old phone in. We have to go through that one too. So when she said she only had one phone, in that interview on the recorded tapes, she only had one phone. Well, that was a kind of a lie, wasn't it? Because now she's got two phones. Do you know what I mean? That's where I get confused. You know, but little things like that that we pick up on, it just makes her look like she's a liar. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, what do you think of that, guys? So she's feeling all stressed out. She don't know what to do. She says, think about a change your name, but that won't do no good. What about moving out of state? You know, maybe that's an option. Ah, she might have to move out of state. Well, if Jim's such a good friend, maybe he can suggest a place for her to go. But anyway, you can't just pick up like that. You got family ties and everything. You can't just pick up. She's got to grin and bear it. She's got to get out in the world and get egg thrown at her. Do you know what I mean? And she's got to take it. And then it'll die off. It will die off. It will. And that's not to say everybody's going to be like that. It's just we're suspicious of her still. Her name's not been completely cleared in our thoughts, in our mind. We still think she had a little bit more to do with it, and we're trying to dig. We're trying to dig. But unless there's more paperwork out there with interviews or any information that hasn't been released, or like people are saying, come out, we want you to come out and make a statement that this woman is cleared of all doing. She has nothing to do with it. Her texts were about affairs and everything. There's nothing to say she had any way, shape, or form had anything to do with it. This is kind of what they need to do, because this is beginning to get. It's beginning to get like now we're going for her. We're going for the kill. We want to know the facts, and now there's petitions out there. Petitions are going around, like for Shannon's family, probably the Watts family, and now there's one for her. Not to profit off her books, And there's another thing about these books, okay? Radar, edition. We know there's a movie coming out about this. We know it's in the making. Lifetime, whoever, people like that. They've gone from the case. They've got all these videos and the police videos. Well, they've made their movie already, don't you? It's just about finished. It's just about finished. And now the case is ended. They can end their story, can't they? Their movie's ended. Oh, yeah. We knew that one was coming. So she's stressed. So she goes on about talking about she's stressed. She don't know what she's going to do, how she's going to cope. She says, what shall I tell my friends? Shall I go tell them not, call every one of my friends and tell them, just say no comment, no comment, no comment. And the detective tells her, no, no, no. Don't call none of your friends up. Don't even tell them. Don't tell them to do that. Because, this detective's thinking we might want to question them, right? And it will look bad on her if she's telling her friends not to talk, you see. So he's warned her, don't put anything into your friend's mouth by not saying a thing, because it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. So he gave her a little warning there. Just let it be. And if they want to talk, they can talk. But don't tell them what to do, more or less, in so many words. But, she's already told a few people not to comment. She's already done that. So it's because she said it already. So he goes on like that. Well, anyway, her health issues, because now she's going to have some health issues. She's going to get depressed or something, by worrying about how she's going to get her next job. Because this woman's not a felon, and I don't see why anybody would not hire her just because, well, maybe not hire her right now, but maybe in a little while, let things die down and then resurface, you know, because she's still under suspicion in our eyes, so in the public's eyes, not in the court of the law or from the police or the detectives. But we don't know that, though, really, do we? Maybe they are looking deeply into her, but are they going to waste their money? They probably truly believe that she didn't have anything to do with the killings, but she's not liked because of her actions. There's a difference. So anyway, a little bit later, this lady comes in, and her name is Hazel. She is obviously a counselor of some kind, because the detective went out and said, let's speak to her. And she came in and she wants to give her help. And she said, there's help out there and I will give you some advice, before you leave the police station. So she's giving her advice, what to expect, what to do next, get some therapy, take time off of work, which she just said she lost her job. So talk about finding another job. We'll give you recommendations, uh, about your last jobs, good employees. Get a letter from them, get them statements, you know, get a statement from the police saying you're cleared of all doing, you wasn't involved. We'll get all that together. We'll talk about that. So she's giving her all this kind of advice like that. And tell her, don't worry yourself. You'll find another job. You will find another job. It's just going to take a little time. Take some time off for yourself. Don't worry about other people. Let them worry about you. That kind of thing. So that's the kind of things that she was telling her. And then, and get yourself a therapist. Go see your therapist. This girl ain't got no money. How's she going to see a therapist? Unless the state pays her because she's a victim. And they have some rights to claim money for therapy. She's probably claiming something of the state. Because if she's classified as a victim, she's entitled to some money or some therapy, some kind of help, something to tide her over. So, they're saying something about 4 a.m. in the morning. So I guess this is 4 a.m. in the morning. And she's tired and everything. And we've already talked about the press, talking to the press and stuff. And, and going to write a book and stuff. She's going to sell her soul to the highest bidder. Well, she needs money, I guess. You can't fault her at that. She's going to make money out of this, whether it be on her conscience or not. But she needs money. If she don't take it, somebody else is going to take the money. But you know what? Depends how much money you're going to get. Is it going to be worth it? Because, sometimes no amount of money is worth it. But as she's not involved with it, and other people are speaking out and going to be writing books, she's going to get on the bandwagon with that one. So that's all I say about that one. Hazel says, take care of yourself. She said, you don't have any thoughts, or you don't have them thoughts anymore about taking your own life, because we don't want another tragedy to happen. We've already had enough. And Nicole says, no, she's not suicidal. Yeah, because if she was, she would have been taken in custody then. So don't ever say you're suicidal in front of them, because they'll put you in the hospital for a couple of days for a psych eval. Oh, yeah. So Hazel says goodbye because she's got another client that she has to see. So, talks about her dream job. And then all about these phones. Detectives just saying, we just want the truth. We need to get in both phones, even though there probably is nothing in there. But we just need to verify it. And Nicole's worried about all her friends' phone numbers getting out there to the media, getting out there to the public. This is what she starts being worried. And she tells the detective, don't release any of that. So, once again, she's telling him what to do. And once again, that detective said, we do what we want. We'll follow our procedures. As we see, a lot of the numbers were released, weren't we? Oh my God. See, never trust a detective. They say one thing and then they go do another. That's the name of the game. So we talked about Chris Watts being moved out of the state. Now we'll kind of go on to this Amanda, whatever her name is. She's the young girl that says that she was on Tinder. There's another one on Tinder. She says that's where she met Chris, and they were, I don't call it dating, but they were meeting up for hot sex. That was all what it was about. I don't think they call it an affair. But she's stating that she did meet up with this Chris Watts. How do you know it's Chris Watts? Well, because it looks like the same man I hooked up with. From the pictures. Yeah, that's him. Are you sure that's him? She said, yes, she's sure that's him. What did you do? What did you talk about? Blah, 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 blah. I didn't watch the whole video because she don't really have much. I've seen her in comments and people's commenting about her story, what she did and everything like that. So we kind of knew a lot about her before. We saw this tape, this video. She goes, they watched the movie or something, or tried to watch a movie called, did you say Shutter Island? Shutter Island. Well, I guess maybe they tried many attempts to watch that movie. But anyway, they were there for hot sex. And so the detectives asking her questions. Asking her questions. And then he says, well, it seems that you just said you had hot sex and stuff like that. And you're probably naked, and all that and the other. I don't know if she was naked in the with the light on or in the dark. But he asks her, okay, has he got tattoos? Markings? And she goes, oh, yeah, he's got tattoos. Oh, yeah? Well, where are these tattoos? Where are they? And she's like, she's trying to think there where she's seen his tattoos. Oh, yeah, well, she's already seen where his tattoos are, aren't they? But the pictures that have been coming out. But I don't know when she made this video, when she was brought in. But as we know, we've seen tattoos are from way earlier on. So on his chest, on his arm. No, did you have one on his leg? So anyway, that was enough about that one. So I didn't really get no more out of that. I'm just thinking this guy is, this woman, it might not have been Chris Watts she had seen. But this is what I'm saying. There are other women that he was supposedly seeing. But this is not really being confirmed. Do you know what I mean? And I heard somebody, a friend of Shannon's or a friend of theirs that he's supposed to have been messed around with, but that's not confirmed. So, and the guy, he said he messed around with Chris Watts. So, but these people come out the woodwork, don't they, and make up stories. They make up stories because they want the attention, and they don't care about consequences, about they're going to get attacked. They don't realize that. It's the same people that write letters. They didn't know they were going to get attacked like that. They probably never thought that their letters would be, well, their letters might be released, but their names wouldn't, and their addresses, or where they worked, or which state they lived in. I'll think again, guys. If you're ever going to be in this situation, or you fall in love with somebody on TV that's just murdered somebody, don't write to them. That's all I'm saying. If you want to keep it a secret, don't write to them until it's all over and said and done and they've been convicted. Because your name's going to be dirt for a while. And oh yeah, you're going to get terrible names. Just like we're on YouTube. We're all getting called, maybe not as bad as like her, but we get called names. But because there's always people that are on this side, more on that side. But there are some ifs still. What ifs? And there's the hows still, the facts. We don't have it. And we want to have the facts. Not everybody wants it. But like I said, if you don't like this kind of thing, you don't have to listen to it. And you don't have to click on videos that say, Chris Watts or any other murder case that's going on. Because it does state what it's about. And just don't follow it. Because I know out there a lot of people have had many nights restless sleep. They got depressed from it. They're feeling sick about it. They're crying about it. It's getting to you. So just step away from it. Step away. Because I think when kids are involved, it's more emotional. And it's not just someone being killed. It's also how they were. It's not even how they were killed. It's how you disposed of them. It's how disgusting. It's the way you dispose of people is worse sometimes than the murder. Strangulation, I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been torture. It could have been, pulling their teeth out while they're alive. I don't have to go into detail, but I'm just saying some deaths are more gruesome than others. But as the public don't like the way he disposed of the bodies, that's in itself is overwhelming. Is taking over the deaths in a way. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, guys, if you've heard anything else, you can comment on this video. Let's discuss it. Thank you.